Welcome back to another episode of Transitions for More. I'm your host, Mike Ergo, a Marine Corps veteran. I've returned from Iraq and faced the challenges of PTSD, addiction, and grief to create a new life that is balanced and healthy in mind, body, and spirit. I'm joined by fellow Marine Rich Stralian, and together we talk about our journey to mental and physical health through endurance sports. Each episode will share some of our journey or interview inspired veterans and subject matter experts to help us find that purpose and connection we all crave. If you have any questions, comments, or topic ideas, feel free to email me at mike@transitionsformore.com. And if you enjoy the show, consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your audio. As always, thanks for listening, everyone, and let's get to the show. Awesome. This has been a long time coming. So this morning we have a couple special guests for the show. We got Laura Hicks and Alex Brown from Thrive in Life out of San Diego. And we're going to be learning about their theory of wellness, the work they do, and why it's so important to them. So Alex, Laura, welcome to Transitions for More. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, so it is a sunny morning here in Northern California as well. It's just living that pandemic life. So we had an interesting kind of roundabout way of meeting. A guy I served with is now the boss of one of your friends. And so we have this interesting connection. But as soon as I heard about the kind of work you're doing in the mental health sphere and how you connect it with physical health, I knew I had to meet both of you and find out more. One of my questions is probably one you can't answer. Maybe you can, but why is the connection between mental health and physical health not as cemented as it is in your work? Like, why is this such a revolutionary thing that you guys are doing?
I don't know the answers to that. I think both of us, it boggles both of our minds, because when we were talking about this and the passion we have for it, we thought this can't be new. Like, we just must be missing something. Like, people are out there doing this and we just aren't hearing about it. And so we, of course, looked into it because we wanted to learn from what other people were doing. And it is just not out there.
Yeah. No, and so I know what's your take on this, Alex? Why is this not a bigger thing already? Because I'm with Laura, I'm just boggled.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I was thinking about the vision for this practice and what we wanted to do, and all of even the research out there regarding trauma, it's just, mind blowing that there's not more people that are really focusing on the mind body connection, right? And regulating the nervous system, because I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. If we want to really simplify it, when have you ever gone on a walk and have been talking with someone and come back feeling worse? I think the answer is hardly ever in human history. Mm-hmm. So I guess where we should back up for just a second. And Alex, could you explain Thrive in Life and what you do and what the business is all about and how you're helping people?
Yeah, absolutely. So really, our vision is to integrate mental health with physical fitness, because we honor that both of these things are so important and they are integral to our well-being, right?
Right.
So not only does physical fitness and the classes that we have, when people come out, number one, we are supporting the community. We're building our community, which is connection, right? Which is allowing others to be seen, which is promoting physical fitness and just being healthy, right? And moving your body, all of those good things about fitness. But also, sorry, can you ask me that again? I totally lost my train of thought.
Oh yeah, no, just like, can you explain what Thrive in Life is and how you are serving people?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
It's all
So
right because we get so passionate about this that I'm with you. I just go down a rabbit hole,
I know
go 100 miles an hour.
I had a vision of our fitness class and then I forgot what I was saying. So, yeah, basically, we wanted to integrate mental health with physical fitness, right? Both of those components are so important and integral for our wellness, our overall well being.
Uh-huh.
So when we have the fitness classes, right, that is to promote community, right? That is to build resilience, to show people what they're capable of, right? To step on the other side of fear, to try something new. So we wanted to promote all of that. It's also co-regulation, right? It's community
Uh-huh.
building. So those kind of fall into the core values of social work as well. So that's really important to us and who we stand for, and serving our community, right? That's a core value of social work. So all of those things are really important to us, in addition to the talk therapy sessions that we have, right? We really wanted to destigmatize mental health. We just want to move to a place of acceptance that it's okay to reach out for support, and normalize that. And yeah, given everything that has been going on for the past 3 years plus now, we
Yeah.
just wanted a safe space for people to be seen. So really focusing on community and overall well-being through mental health and physical fitness.
Yeah. And there's one thing that I think both of you aren't giving yourselves enough credit, because there's a third component that I see, and it's what I think of as spirituality. And by spirituality, I mean a connection to something greater than yourself, whether that's a community, other people, or a purpose that drives you. And to gather with other people for a common goal, not only is that something veterans and people who are first responders can really relate to, but it's the connection that I think a lot of us are lacking, especially if you notice that, with, I'd say traditionally humans have gathered around, a context of safety, like defending your tribe, or the context of a religion or a faith, doing certain rituals or practices. And with the decline of a lot of people's participation in organized religion, there's not really that community gathering spot anymore. And so I think all of us are just really missing that part of it. And so, by the fact that you guys are getting people together to do something with a common purpose, you fulfill that need as well. Is that factor into how you work with people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's co-regulation right there,
Yeah.
right? Co-regulation, connection. Connection is built in safe spaces, right? So when we talk about healing from trauma, we need safety first, right? We need belonging.
Yeah.
That's an inherent need. We all need to feel seen, right?
Yeah, definitely. And Laura, how did you get into this, and what's your passion for seeing people thrive mentally, physically?
Yeah, so I worked for Wounded Warrior Project for a little bit and helped with like their adventure trips and the mental health side of things. And I saw such a difference in another component of what we really believe in, Alex and I, of just how when you are the therapist and you like get down and dirty, right, with like right
Yeah.
next to the people that you are talking to, how quickly it breaks down the barriers of like distrust and just how much faster work can get done, basically.
Yeah.
And so that was always so like overwhelming to me, just the amazing amount of positive work that could be done in such a short amount of time, because you're right next to the person who you have this very deep conversation with that really you just met. But then they're watching you fall while you snowboard, and it's kind of just
Yeah.
like, oh, we're on the same playing field. And
Yeah.
I just took that and thought it was such a powerful thing. So when Alex and I reconnected, we kind of just threw together ideas of what we were both passionate about, and they fit so well together. Like, we really do believe in working on both. And I've seen the power of being on the mental health side, just being unafraid to show that you're human and unafraid to show that like you need just as much help sometimes, and so when we do these fitness classes, a big component is that we, as the clinicians and also the other people that work for us and with us, we want them to be at these classes, because then not only are we building community, just like Alex said, but also we're showing them that like, hey, we struggle too. And this is something that we're not just telling you, we also are doing our best to live. And we like, it's hard. It's not easy to carve out the time to be a mom, to be a military spouse, to work full time and still have friends, and fight these feelings of depression and loneliness and trying to break out of the after effects of trauma. And even understanding everything that's happening can be so overwhelming. But like, here we are, let's do it together. And it's not easy, but even for like showing up is incredibly amazing and so powerful.
Yeah, no, well put. And as you were talking, something occurred to me that being in this helping profession, especially when we are serving, I'd say veterans, active duty military, is just the idea that, so for the majority of military being enlisted, when we or they are seeking services, it's from an officer. And so there's that big gap already, right? I remember getting my teeth worked on by, naval dentistry and being afraid to ask for another shot of Novocaine because I wasn't sure like how I was supposed to properly do that, but the fact is that, when you can jump in and be on someone's level and work out with them, then I think it totally destigmatizes the process of mental health, and shows that, yeah, we as providers, we, like you said, we have challenges too. And this physical fitness component isn't just a do as I say, not as I do thing, but people like both of you and I believe this and we actually put it into practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What is the biggest challenge you think with getting people to, I don't know, buy into a physical fitness component in terms of their mental health treatment? Is it more of like, hey, get your ass up at 6 a.m. and do it? Or is it more of a, well, will this really benefit me? Or is this just kind of something that sounds good? What kind of resistance are you facing? And I mean, it's obviously a unique thing. Most people just go to therapy and maybe get a homework assignment, but they're not working out.
I would say it's fear of trying something new. I would say it's fear of stepping outside of their comfort zone and just showing up.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the clients that we're working in and how it relates to, the nervous system. They're either hyper aroused and they have a lot of anxiety and they don't want to, it's scary to show up and meet new people. And then also the ones that are in that dorsal vagal state, right? And they're avoidant and they're struggling with depression, and getting out of bed is hard enough, right? Brushing your teeth, taking a shower is hard enough, right?
Yeah.
So to ask them to work out seems like a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just very slowly and it's just continuous offering and support.
Right. So the social aspect of it for, let's say our nervous types, and then the extra task for people who are more of the depressive types who are struggling with like getting out of bed and brushing their teeth. That makes a lot of sense. It's what I love about this and what I call my favorite cult, which is CrossFit, is that there's just that atmosphere of encouragement. There's an intensity to it. Yes. But it's like intensely positive and intensely encouraging. And so everybody can't help but feel motivated by it, and like real motivation. Like anybody who's been in the military, been around the military, knows that the word motivation is just kind of said tongue in cheek, or it's, yeah, haha, look at that guy, he's a motivator, or that lady, she's a motivator, derogatively. But that genuine motivation, like, oh wow, I feel that kind of zest that for life, I feel that vitality again. Hard to convey what that is, but if you can trick someone into experiencing it for the first time, then they'll be hooked.
Yeah, it's really like they say, showing up is the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we say, like, if as long as you show up, like, we will support you through the rest, right? But you just have to show up.
Yeah. It's what's your, I mean, I say trick, but I think it is kind of a trick or a manipulation sometimes, that how we convince our clients to, and our patients, our veterans, our people we're helping, to get them to do something new like this. What's your angle on this, Laura? How do you do this?
I am just very real about my own struggle. Like if I'm trying to, I understand the intimidation and the fear factor. I remember like the first time going into a gym, and just looking around at all of like the men in there.
Yeah.
Being
a lot
like,
of groaning and
oh no.
Yeah.
And just I remember that feeling of like, okay, not only do I not know what I'm doing, but I'm clearly going to draw attention to myself because I clearly don't know what I'm doing, right? And just like that fear and just feeling so intimidated by that. And I remember that. And I just talked to the people that, I have, and just remind them like, hey, everybody has to start somewhere. And there is no shame in that. I remember not wanting to go to a CrossFit gym, like, because I was so scared to step in because all those people were way more muscular than me. And I was like on my way, to an intro class, and I wanted to throw up because I was so nervous. And just, understanding that and remembering that that's where I started, and just being able to share that, like, hey, I remember, and I can't tell you how grateful I am that I took that step, and like, let me be here to support you through that, because I'm not going to forget that feeling. Like, it's awful and intimidating, but you can do it.
Yeah, so you humanize it, and you use that self-disclosure of like putting yourself on their level. Like, yeah, I know that feeling. It's not that everyone else is, all the quote unquote normal people just do it. It's like, no, this is scary for all of us.
Absolutely.
What about you, Alex? How do you trick people into getting in shape?
I think kind of like that same thing of how good it will feel after, right? Kind of like even, and not even just like how we feel, like, oh, I feel great after working out, right? And the endorphins and stuff like that, but more so like I did something that I didn't think I could do. Right. Like the gratification of trying something new and then having that work out. And then imagine if it works out better than you had imagined. And that just gives you more reinforcement, right? That positive reinforcement, that positive encouragement that, okay, this is something that I was really scared to do, and I did it and it worked out, and I know I can do it again, right? Or I know I can do hard things. I know I can try new things, and it's going to be okay. Even if it's not perfect, right? It's still okay.
That's so powerful. It's the idea that when you do something you haven't done before, like you were saying, that you didn't think you could do, then your mind just expands into, if I could do that, then what about ... Then all these possibilities in the world starts to open up more. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yes. I like that a lot. It's one thing to convince people to work out and send them somewhere, but what I love about your model is that it sounds like there's a level of trust and rapport kind of built into the relationship that you have with someone you're working with, and you're going to be there. So you're not sending them, you're bringing them along to join you. And I think that is such a good example that's just sorely missing in a lot of places, just in life in general. It's like, yeah, you go do that thing. I'm sure it's good for you, but I guess let me know how it goes. But when we can be there, man, that's walking the walk. And it's let me tell you, like, well, let me relate to you probably, is that there's lots of times where I don't want to work out. There's a lot of times. But once I'm able to trick myself into it, then it's the best. And I think what might be happening too with these group sessions, is that I know when I have a workout buddy, guy I served with, who just coincidentally moved across the street from me, but we work out every morning together now during the weekdays. And I know if I don't get up, then I'm leaving them just kind of hanging. So I was like, damn it, I got to get up. So that, like, a forced accountability, even if it's not like anything, official, it's that positive social pressure of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the accountability. It's doing it with them, right? Being on the same playing field. And also, like, we're taking that piece out of, you have to find someone, right?
Yes,
You have to
yes.
find a trainer. You have to find a place, a gym or CrossFit, whatever, right? We're taking that out and we're saying, hey, like, here's this person that we know and trust, and we're going to be there also to do this alongside of you. So all you have to do is show up, right?
Yeah, no, that's great. Exactly. You make it that much easier, because every link in the chain, is another step someone has to take, is another opportunity for someone to bail out or be convinced by, fear, or rationalize away the chance to do something important like this. So by setting it up, on a plate, and be like, here it is, it's already laid out there for you. Just show up. It's so much better of a transition. So I'd like to hear from each of you why, the physical is such an important part in your own life. Why, I mean, you have to have a passion to do this. People don't just think like, hey, maybe working out would be a good thing too. You have to have like a reason in your heart, like in your soul, of why you do this. So what is that for each of you?
Do you want me? Okay. Well, for me, I think physical fitness just has always been a really big part of my life. I grew up playing soccer. I think I started at the age of 4, and I have a very competitive nature. It's who I am. I actually, yeah, I used to be like quite the sore loser as a child. And I think I probably still am, but I just, manage it a little better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just always been important to me. And then choosing to go to like a military academy also drilled in, right, how important it is. And then I think just as an adult, realizing that when I don't work out, I am just grumpy, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
feel as good. I can't manage my anxiety as well. And just recognizing myself that when I feel the most peace is when I'm pushing my body, and I can't find that anywhere else. Like it's just such a passion of mine, because I've recognized that when I've gone through really hard times in my life and just felt the feelings of depression or anxiety or not knowing what's coming next, when I get out and move, I find peace. And
Mhm.
that combined with, my own therapist, I just noticed that I feel the best when doing both. So just having that passion, seeing its effects in my own life, and then talking, to Alex about it, it's like, no, this is real. This is a thing. And it's like a combination of both is where I can find the best version of myself.
Well stated. No, very well stated. I completely agree.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's for me, it just looks like setting that example for my kids, right? To be healthy, to move their bodies, to take time for themselves, like all of that is okay. Um, for me, it's always been running. And even as a military spouse, right? When I first moved to San Diego and didn't know anybody, didn't have a community, it's like your partner goes to work and all of a sudden he has like 150 guys he knows on a boat, right?
Yeah,
Or
right.
like a submarine. But for me as a spouse, like I had to find those connections, right? So really, that's what running did for me. It started with just running with neighbors, and then also through running groups here in San Diego,
Hmm.
because we it's such a beautiful. You could run year round, and there's just so many people being fit and active. So that was definitely a huge plus to connect with others, to build friendships, and really that's when I started running half marathons, which has really built a lot of self confidence, right? And it's just really empowering, even honestly, even running races on the bases where I'd be pushing a double stroller and I'd be running past half of these guys in the
Hell
military.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, it just feels so empowering. Like I have to be doing something right, when you're running even 10 miles with a double or
Yeah.
right. And it's healthy for my kids because they are outside and they're looking around and they have co-regulation in that way. So just so many positive self-esteem, confidence building things and connection and community.
I love that. And I think it's such a flex when you can pass, people, active duty people pushing a double stroller, especially because I imagine doing that casually, taking a sip of your water bottle or just like, hey, what's up? No big deal that I'm pushing two more human beings on a device while you're trying to just move your own body. That's cool.
So empowering. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I want to
Yes.
just add really quick, Alex, you made me think too, just of another amazing benefit, essentially, right? From physical fitness, striving to reach a certain goal, like you're never going to be the best at anything, right? So like there's always progress you can make, which is one, it's very humbling, but two, that builds so much mental strength that translates into your personal life. So there is like really nothing that you do when you come to pushing yourself physically that doesn't benefit you, because you want to be mentally strong. Okay, well, what does that look like? That means like you need to put stuff in your life that challenges you, right?
Yeah.
And if like your own personal life is just too much and you're like, okay, well, this situation is just too much and I don't know how I'm going to get through it. But like, okay, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to go, like Alex's case, like I'm going to train for this half marathon. Like that is not easy. And you are building your mental strength and your mental capacity to handle tough things. And that
Yes.
translates into your personal challenges because it can't not. Like you are working your mental your mental health, your brain in a way that then translates into like, oh, you come back to the situation. It's like, your brain is literally like, oh, well, I just outran all these guys. So, like, clearly I have what it takes to overcome the situation. Right. And
Yes.
we also think that's such a benefit. And it's amazing because it's something that happens as a byproduct. It's like not even the main goal. Right. And it just
Right.
happens.
Right. The confidence that comes with it. And I think as you're talking about that, it made me think that, the other thing that's happening, like you mentioned, when we have struggles in life and things we can't think our way through, that the break, two different ways. So if we're worried about something that we can't perceive in our minds as solvable or something we can work through, that break to do something physical allows that problem to be worked on. I think of it like a Rubik's Cube in the background, kind of being worked on without our direct attention. So we have the subconscious mind just looking at it or being open to inspiration, so we can figure it out. We are not actively like one line at a time, trying to like code that solution, by sheer force of will. I mean, some of my best insights have come, mid lap while I'm swimming or on the bike or, something like that. I'm like, oh, I allowed the solution to come to me. That's great. When I let go of trying to, force myself through it. And then the other thing that I've noticed too is like, for those of us who have gotten stuck in depression, that when there doesn't seem like there's a way forward in a specific problem, physically moving your body forward gets you out of that stagnation mindset. And so you're like, at a certain level, whether it's conscious and I think a lot subconscious, that if you're moving, you're making progress on something. So you're not just standing still. So you're able to harness that momentum for any other, problem or stressor going on in your life. So when it comes to it, how do you introduce the importance of this balance between, the physical fitness and mental wellness? Is it broken down like that? Or is it a more holistic approach of this is how one becomes the best version of themselves? What is your pitch to somebody seeking services?
I would say it's the holistic approach, right?
Right.
We want to take the holistic approach to healing that really encompasses both of these parts, or like you said, even like the spiritual part, right?
Yeah.
And how it's all integrated and how one thing affects the other thing and then that affects the other thing, right? And just the importance of incorporating all of that.
Yeah.
I think too, our website is, we try to lay it out pretty clearly, and people, the same as me, before I call someone or before I reach out, I want to see what they're about. And so I think people read our website, something resonates with them, and then they also call, and the really cool thing is like when I do consultations, we briefly talk about this, but it resonates with everybody because it makes sense. And the other thing too, we also really believe in like the nutrition portion of it, right? Like you need to fuel your body correctly. So we do also have nutritionists who like we can consult with. We can send people to like, hey, just like chat with her because she knows how to take like cheap, healthy things and make them into something that, is delicious. Like I can't do that, but she can. And this is her passion. And, she understands also the integration of everything because we really do take the holistic approach, as in it also includes like, how are you fueling yourself? Right? Like if you are taking, like crappy food and trying to work out, like you're not going to make as much progress and you're not going to feel as good. So.
Yeah, no, that's another important part of it. No, I like that. It makes sense. So anybody who's worked out before, it makes sense. So I can see this really resonating, especially with vets, and I guess I could see a part of it where there's a negative connotation of people who just, I don't know, we're beaten down by the workout process a little too much. You never found any enjoyment with it. But what do you think? I'll ask this. How does someone first like get involved if they're seeking services with Thrive in Life? Is it something where they reach out via the website or they call a number? Like who can be involved and what type of plans are offered, or how does it work if like I'm a vet or I'm someone who wants to be like interacting with one of you?
Yeah. You can totally check us out on our website. That's there, provides a lot of information about who we are and who we serve and what we do. Also, you can contact either one of us directly via email or phone. Any of those ways would work.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And is there anybody who Thrive in Life is not for?
Good question.
It sounds like perhaps not.
No, No, and we're not saying that you have to love working out. We're not saying that you have to work out, right? We're just simply saying that this is something that we offer. This is a service that we offer that we see value in, that we are willing to show up for. And we just encourage, right? We're still meeting our clients where they're at, right?
Yeah.
But we just want to gently encourage anyone who wants to try something new with us or wants to step on that other side of fear or is just needing that additional support, right? That we already have this resource, the dietitian and the trainer, right? A fitness coach. So that's there if anybody wants it or thinks that maybe in the future they'll want that.
Yeah. And I'm laughing at just my own experiences after you talked about going to a gym or a CrossFit place for the first time, Laura. And I know what it's like I remember walking into a Gold's Gym and just seeing like huge dudes with like big gold chains and like massive like arms, just working out and basically yelling and screaming as they power lifted. It's a bit intimidating. And I also know what it's like to be in that environment and love it. And I'll tell people who are intimidated by working out or think they can't mess up. I just remember I had gotten out of the Marine Corps in the summer of 2005, and my wife and I drove back across the country from North Carolina back to California. And the first time I'm at my home gym in California, I load up the bench press with, I think, as much weight as I was comfortably benching for 4 or 5 reps. And so, it's a decent amount of weight. And I'm like, I don't need a collar on these weights. They'll stay on. I got this. And not having thought that, during the checkout process of the military, while I was, leaving, I wasn't working out as much. And so I load up this weight, I bring it down, and I'm about to push it back up. And the part of the press part of the bench press, it's not going up. And so immediately I start dumping weight on one side, which then causes this counter reaction of the other side to become much heavier, and the weight dumps there. And then I have this barbell, and somehow I'm projected forward and crashed into the mirror. Thank God it didn't break, but it made the loudest sound. And that's the part of the movie where like the record scratches and everyone goes, what? And I had to say something dumb like, I'm okay, or something like that. So like I'm aware of that experience. And I think that's everyone's worst nightmare. So I'll tell people, hey, I dare you to one up me there, because I don't think you can, and then also tell people, you're not going to be embarrassed. You're around a bunch of people who either are just starting or want to see you thrive. Mm-hmm. So this isn't a competition. We're not, trying not to be first string on any kind of sports team. It's a group activity. And I think when people get that sense, they're much more open to the idea.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they'll find that it's probably more fun than they would have thought, right? Yeah. Not only are we challenging ourselves and it's new, and maybe they think it's going to be scary and intimidating, but what it turns out to be is actually fun. And we laugh a lot.
Yes. Yes. There's something, obviously humans bond under, shared difficulty. And, that's anyone who's gone to, either a military boot camp or any kind of, training program where you struggle or you suffer and you look around and someone's looking back at you, be like, yeah, no, this does suck. Or this is difficult. And you kind of smile at that person and be like, well, here we are. Especially if you're lucky enough to have some kind of like wise ass who can like make some kind of joke about that shared suffering experience, is just the best thing. So couple off the wall questions. One, I bring up CrossFit a lot. Are you both CrossFitters? Do you do this?
I I love CrossFit.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, let's see. I started actually just by doing like when the movie 300 came out, and then
Yes.
like they like, posted the workout in like Men's Health magazine or whatever, right? I started there and I was so weak. I mean, I couldn't do a pull-up, nothing.
Yeah.
And I just started doing that like, a couple times a week, modified, and then realized like, okay, this is CrossFit. What is CrossFit? Right. So I started like looking into it and was like, well, I can't go there. I'm not in shape enough for that. And
Yeah. It's for super
eventually,
freaks.
eventually I decided to try one out. I moved out here to San Diego and again walked into a CrossFit gym, and I was extremely intimidated, like, oh no, this is too much. And I took that first step and tried, and like you said, the community and like that that version of like suffering together but still being encouraging and just being able to make fun of each other, and it builds friendships that are so strong. Like some of my
Yeah.
best friends out here are from the CrossFit gym. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I'm a big believer.
Yeah. So fellow cult member, I love it.
Yeah.
I've been out of the cult for a little while, but I'll find my way back, I'm sure. So a question about that, that relates to nothing. Are people still wearing headbands and really high knee-high socks, or is that just a thing of the late 2000s that I remember?
Yeah, I don't think that's really a thing anymore. I actually
Nice.
haven't gone to the gym for a while either because uh pandemic and I had my daughter, but yeah, I still hang out with the people there all the time, and no, it's not really a thing.
That's good. Alex, what's one thing about you that people would be maybe surprised to know? Like a
Mm,
special hobby or talent? Can you play like the recorder, or do you do Irish folk dancing, or
definitely don't.
yeah.
Don't. I don't know. That's a really good question. Let me think about that.
Okay. Well, you know, even if you don't, what I like about that is it probably points to the fact that you are authentic, or there's no part of yourself that you really hide from people. That's the sense I get from you.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks.
yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
would say Alex is really funny.
yeah.
She's really funny. And I think people miss it at first when they first meet her. But the
Everybody.
more but the more you talk to her, you're just like, I don't know, Alex is so quick-witted, and then she'll just like say something and I'm like doubled over because she's just really funny.
I
She
love
definitely has
that.
a sense of humor.
I love that. I love that. So I'm guessing you have some good one-liners and maybe some good dry humor too, or like lines that people just might miss. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. That's what makes someone I think really special to hang around, is if you can see the humor in all situations. And I have a wiener dog scratching at the door as promised. I think everybody in the show knows Bruno. 1 second. Come here, Bruno. It's like the show's mascot, or 12-pound wiener dog who has to be on my lap. Yes, I love you too, buddy. Well, is there anything else that we should know about Thrive in Life, or about your practice, or about either of y'all that that people should know? I think we covered most of it.
Yeah. I mean, we're here. Our website. Yeah. Check out our website.
Yeah. Which will be in the show notes, everybody. So look at that.
Yeah. Connect with us. Try something new. We are here for you.
Cool. And, like I said, I just love the work you're doing. And it's one of those things that, like you said, like, how is this not happening? Well, it's not. And you're filling that niche. And we're talking offline before, and whether you get credit for it or not, I really believe this is like the precipice of a humongous movement and the connecting the physical and mental health spheres. And I think we'll get to a point within, I don't know, 5-10 years where we'll look back and be like, how was mental health considered a separate thing? Why wasn't it just called health or wellness? So no, I just believe in what you guys are doing so much. And I'm really, really honored to have you on the show, and just really honored to know you. So thank you for taking the time this morning to hang out and talk.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
No, thanks for having us.
No problem. And everyone listening, make sure you check out the show notes, Thrive in Life in San Diego. And let's say, I have one last question. Let's say somebody, they'll probably have to live in California if they want to join or seek services from either one of you. But do they have to be local to San Diego?
No. Anywhere in
Okay.
California is okay.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, we do have a lot of people who listen to the show who are in this wonderful state. So check out Thrive in Life on the show notes, and reach out. So Alex, Laura, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, that'll do it for this week of Transitions for More. Go ahead and subscribe to the show, follow it. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me, mike@transitionsformore.com, with any questions or ideas for the show. And please send the show to people you know who might need to listen to it. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes if you get a chance. And just thanks for listening. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.